Replacing your motorcycle exhaust is one of the best value ways to boost performance without touching engine internals. While the specifics of removing your old exhaust and installing a new one will differ from bike to bike, the overall process remains similar. Tools you'll need are breaker bar, socket wrench, torque wrench, thread lock, and exhaust sealant. When removing your old exhaust, start from the heavier end first, which is the muffler. Doing so means there's not undue strain on the exhaust headers and manifold which connect to the exhaust ports. Using a breaker bar, unscrew all bolts holding the muffler to your bike. Usually the main bolt hangs off the rear foot peg bracket. With the exhaust can removed, loosen any bolts holding the main section of the exhaust, then completely unscrew the bolts holding the manifolds in place. Disconnect the exhaust from the bike and push the pipe forwards or towards the front of the bike so that the headers smoothly exit the exhaust ports. If you aren't going to install your new exhaust system straight away, cover up the ports so no dirt or other particles get into the engine. For installation, we'll install in the reverse order of removal. It's probably a good idea to do a practice dry run with your new system to ensure you know everything should be in position. There will be an order you need to put the headers in, so don't mix them up. Best practice is to put new crusher gaskets into the manifolds whenever reconnecting the exhaust. Ours here are only 5,000 Ks old and still in good condition, so we're going to reuse them. Connect the manifolds over the ports. At this stage, place the bolts on, but only tighten them by hand. We want them loose to be able to adjust the position of the headers. Next, get the main section of the exhaust and again loosely screw it in place on the appropriate bracket. Before connecting the headers to the pipe, get some exhaust or muffler sealant and smear a good amount on the outside of the section that will be covered by the larger piece of pipe. This not only bonds the metal together, but helps ensure you don't get any air leaks. It's best to hold the headers in place as best as possible and only push on the main pipe until it won't go any further. Clean up any sealant before it dries. Repeat when installing the muffler to the end of the tailpipe. With everything in place, it's time to tighten. Because of the confined spaces, we can't fit our torque wrench up to tighten the bolts on the manifold. Instead, we'll use a ratchet wrench combined with some thread lock to ensure the bolts don't come loose. Put some plastic or other material down to cover your new pipes from any drips of the thread lock. Make sure whatever you do, you don't over tighten the manifold bolts. Over torquing and stripping bolts that are connected to your engine is a cardinal sin. Tighten any other bolts connecting the exhaust system to brackets in the bike and you're ready to test. Put your hand near any of the connections on your exhaust to feel for air leaks. Keeping in mind the pipe will get extremely hot almost immediately. If you feel air near the manifolds, it probably means you need to put in new gaskets. If it's around the joints, apply something like RTV silicone to create a seal. Keep in mind also that your bike will now be running lean and it's recommended before riding you install an aftermarket fuel and air controller to correct this.